Hello, my friends. Hi. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting hooked up here. I have a problem with my remote, so I'm having to walk around there. So, I think I'm in frame. I am still on a mission to use up old paints, stored paints that I've had mixed up in different jars that I've had mixed up over the last 6 months, 8 months, or less. And I just need to use them up. I've got several of them here that I have used up for this pour. I'm really happy. Empty jars to clean out. I also have this base mix, which is a combination of several mixes that I was experimenting with for my cloud pearl pours, which is what I'm going to try to attempt to do today. So we're going to find out what happens when I combine. I think this was 3 different bases that I was experimenting with. Mostly it's the Artist Loft White, Floetrol, Golden Color Gloss Pouring Medium, but not in all of those. And of course, Decor Art Satin Enamel. Excuse me. So I'm going to pour that down as my base. And the colors that I'm going to be using up is a mix that I had, Soho Payne's Gray and some Lucas Payne's Gray, and I think it's got even a dash of Lucas Indigo in there. I had used it for a base at some point, and that's what I've got there. And then the next one I have is a excuse me, Artist Loft Metallic Blue. We'll be using that. And then this is, I believe, Arteza's. No, wait. It's it's Arteza Fairy Tale Blue. And we'll put that over top those blues. Then I have a Holbein Mauve, but I think it's also mixed with some Golden's Permanent Maroon. So a lot of colors I end up just mixing up my own. Although this one is an Amsterdam Persian Rose. Now I don't know how this is going to blend with all the rest of those colors, but we're certainly going to find out, aren't we? And one of my favorite colors to use in some of these pours, it's the Golden Nickel Azo Gold. It's mixed with some of the Golden's Bright Gold Fine version. So I do like that a lot too. I also have some Titanium White made up, so I don't know if we'll be putting that in there or not. So I need to get my base down, and then we will be back to lay down the colors and see how this is going to go. Be right back. torch powder. Yeah, I'm kind of running my hand underneath to stop the drips, so it won't continue to pull too much paint off. I should probably give this a torch. I'm not seeing many bubbles, which is really good, but you just never know. I'm going to spin it around. I want to see what's happening here. Lots of cells up in this corner. Of course, I think that's the first place I ran the paint off, was that particular corner. And that's usually where those cells and pearls develop first. Because it gets the most, those are basically viscosity cells. from rubbing against the paint, against each other, the different kinds of paint. And I have several different kinds in here, don't I? Brands of paint: Golden's, Amsterdam, Arteza, Artist Loft, Soho, Lucas Krill. Yeah, I got it all on here, don't I? And then again, I don't even know, other than the Artist Loft white, what's all in those bases. So all right, we're going to, you know, believe it or not, sometimes when you do it, it's like baking a cake. It brings up, and especially if there's air bubbles too, but I don't want little white dots for air bubbles. But I am going to go ahead and check my size, make sure my drips are pulled, and torch it. Make sure we don't have any of those nasty little air bubbles in there. And after I do that, we will be back to see what's been developing with these crazy colors. So let's be back in just a moment. Well, guys, it looks like we certainly got our share of cells, pearls, out of this painting. So it looks like my base, the combination of all my different bases. Excuse me, I was just putting that microphone back on my apron. The pearls are still developing. I can still see some coming through here, some more cells coming through there, pearl cells. I don't know what you want to call these. But we certainly got a lot of crazy cells here, and I can tell that the majority of this base mix was from the leftovers of the Artist Loft, the new version of the Artist Loft that I had, that creates these huge, puffy, cloudy, I mean, it's a cloud pearl pour, but the pearls and cells, you really don't, at least I don't want to tell you what you want. I don't want these huge marshmallowy kind of cells. I prefer these that have some color in them. These are what I call pearls myself. They've got some color to them. There's more definition to them. They're not puffy and marshmallowy looking like that. That's at least how I refer to them. Here's some more that's got some color. Some of them are splitting, which is kind of cool to watch. And here's one developing in one. This one here. And yeah, so, you know, this is, if you like purple, this is a good one for you. Yeah, that maroon. And I think what happened there is because I had the fairy tale blue that I poured over top of some of that. It's an I don't know if it's not a color shift. It's iridescent paint, the fairy tale blue. And that's what I put over top that. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of through here. The way it's stretched out over top those colors. And over the maroon. I used up that color, which is good. The Holbein mauve with the, what was that? I forget what I said. Arteza maroon or whatever that was. That was our golden maroon. It was over the top. It was a mixture of the two, which many of these paints are mixtures. So I'm going to go ahead, make sure I've got all these drips off this painting, move it over to my drying rack, and I'm going to do it again. I still have more paints to use up. And of course, this big bucket of base paint that I used for this, I want to get through that eventually pretty soon too, because I'm going to go back to the formula that I know really works well for me. But so there we go. We've got a lot of pearl cells and a lot of color, mostly purple. I think the next one I'm going to use a lot more of the blue and turquoise. Yeah. So be looking for that sometime after this video is posted, and we'll see what we come up with using leftovers. See ya. Thanks for joining me on this little pour. Take care.